You want burgers, hot dogs, some chicken, and ribs. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
So I got new headphones today.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cord's not as long as I'd like, though. Like,
How long do you need it to be?
long as my dick. Yeah.
Oh, so 4 inches.
Hey, come on. You gotta make me sound at least somewhat awesome.
5.5.
You know, 5.5 is the average now. I don't know if scientists reported that just to be like, oh my God, these guys are so obsessed with their dick size. Let's just say 4 is the average. And every one of them's just going to shut the fuck up, right? And it's like, no. Did you know, actually, they did a scientific study.
A what?
They did a scientific study. I really fucked that up. But they did a scientific study where, like, it's dudes that are more obsessed with penis size than women.
Yeah, we've known that for a long time.
Yeah, it's so, I just thought that was fucking hilarious.
You know, the saying, it's not about the size, it's about the motion of the ocean.
I know.
It's very true.
My motion's pretty good, right?
Sometimes.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare we? This is not... This is a horror movie podcast. What are you tuning in for? Welcome.
Dick jokes.
Yes, dick jokes and dick jokes galore. Welcome to Night of the Horrorphile, a horror movie podcast where I take a horror movie and show my beautiful wife, Brittany, that same horror movie, and hopefully she enjoys it.
Oh.
This month has been Trauma Month, and we have been having a good time, or I have been having a good time. I can't speak the same for Brittany. What's been your problem this month?
I don't want to talk about that yet.
No, you want to.
Let's come back to that at the end of the episode.
Okay. I can see your problem. I mean, not problem. That's not a problem.
I got all the problem. I know, it's right here on my face.
I really wish this was an audio medium because
it is some audio medium.
No, oh fuck. Oh fuck. I am out of it tonight. I am super hyper. Because I'm just coming off of my side effects from my COVID vaccine, which was a slight cold, people. Don't let people say, oh, I got so sick. Like, you know, you hear these people with the flu shot that'll sit there and be like, the next day I caught the flu. It's like, no, you got a small version of the cold. It's fine. You're okay. You're not going to die. Just look at it this way. So
you're not gonna die.
So yeah, so go get your vaccine. It's amazing. It's not a bad thing yet. I haven't gotten shot too. I don't know. I might sprout arms and start beating up the locals.
You wish.
I do wish. I wish I could grow into Goro and just kill a bunch of people. Anyway, don't isolate that, please.
You do the editing.
Anyway, for Trauma Month, what did we watch this week?
Poultrygeist
from the year of our Lord 2006.
What?
I don't know. Why do people say the year of our Lord?
I don't think I've ever heard people say that.
Oh, they say it all the time. The year of our Lord.
I don't listen to people.
Wouldn't if you're religious every year be the year of the Lord? Like, why do we have to say that?
I don't think it is.
Really?
I think wouldn't the year of the Lord be like the year of the rapture? And nobody knows when that's happening. That's because it's not going to, but
that's true.
That's a different story.
I don't know. I don't know if you go over to if you go subscribe to our Patreon and listen to Shooting the Shit, I think we might be ushering into the rapture. But anywho, yes, we watched Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Like I said, from the year of our Lord, 2006.
You can stop saying that now.
Though, finally, Trauma Month starts to feel like home with the first Lloyd Kaufman-directed flick of the month. That's right. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. So the idea for Poultrygeist actually came from Gabe Friedman, Trauma's then producer and editor at the time, who had also worked on All the Love You Cans, a doc about the Trauma's time at Cannes Film Festival. Tales from the Crapper, a pretty fun anthology movie that I think I only enjoyed.
Yeah.
I've never heard
Yeah.
anyone be like, "Oh, did you watch Tales from the Crapper?" It's like, yeah.
Have you heard anybody say, "Oh, did you watch Poultrygeist?"
Yes, I have, actually.
Never mind.
But as Lloyd tells it, they were busy one day cleaning the rat feces from the trauma basement and fighting off raccoon-sized rats when Gabe suggested, since he had worked in fast food, that it would be interesting to take on that industry with Trauma's sharp satire abilities. So Gabe went on to spearhead the project, and Lloyd directed. Now, okay, also, there was a spec script that had already been delivered to Trauma and acquired in 2002, submitted by Daniel Bova. It made its rounds through tons of rewrites and was completed by Gabe Friedman. Now, this production wasn't a walk in the park. As we shared many times on the show, making an independent film isn't something that's just cut and dry and super easy. It's one of the many reasons Lloyd loves to do rehearsals and shoot in sequence. Often that takes all the pressure off of continuity and you have less reshoots with actors and stuff like that, who are usually very green and amateur, especially in a Trauma movie.
Yeah.
Also, it allows you to keep writing and improvising and changing the flow of the movie as you have to, as you go. Because remember, we talked about this on the Toxic Avenger episode and all those episodes last Trauma month about how, like, if you shoot in sequence, you can continue writing the script. You can continue changing. Right. You can change the story around to fit whatever setting you have to be at.
Right.
So keep in mind, Trauma doesn't have the money for big locations and expensive sets. In fact, this film was shot in a dilapidated and abandoned McDonald's and also a church and its basement, which kind of gives it that authentic dumpster fire feel I think they were going for.
I agree.
Yes.
And I gotta say, I gotta interrupt you for a minute.
Uh-huh.
I gotta say, there's a lot of money in this movie.
There is.
This is a good budgeted movie.
What's funny you say that is this is no more than in the usual Trauma affair. This cost them $500,000 to make, and that's the goal they usually set for themselves.
Oh, well, they spent it
very wisely. Yes. Yeah. Well, they did. They did mostly spend it on the effects and stuff like that.
You can tell.
Yes. Which, by the way, and we'll get to it, but my lord, the practical effects in this movie are something. To think that Trauma pulled this off in 2006. Like, think about the movies that were out in 2006 that were using CGI. Like, that was when CGI was like, everybody was like, CG everything. And it looked like pure fucking shit. It was also shot on 35 millimeter, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
Also, not a lot of people were doing that at this time. That's what gives, when you watch this movie, it gives it it feels like it was made in the 80s almost. Yeah,
because they said something in regards to 9/11, and I was like, what? And you were like, yeah, this movie was made in 2006. I was like, what?
You're like, hang on. Yes,
I'm confused.
They make a 9/11 joke in this movie, and we'll kind of discuss how we'll talk about that here in a little bit, because no one has ever tried to cancel Trauma, and there's a reason why, I think. But anyway, without further ado, let's dive into Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead.
Tomahawk Tribe Indian Burial Ground.
Where
you're going to live for the rest of your life. Under the ground.
Under the ground. Under the ground. The corpses are so nice under here. I can't think of a rhyme.
What the fuck?
I don't know what just happened. I just busted out in song, much like this movie.
Yes.
One thing we won't be able to fully highlight is the hell that went on trying to shoot this thing. First, it was 100-degree weather in Buffalo, New York, in a place with no AC and no electricity. There were fights and even pay disputes among the actors.
Yeah, pay me some more if I'm not.
Which was kind of odd because, just to clear up any misconceptions for anyone who might take my suggestion to go work with Trauma and get an education in film, because I always suggest that. But I'm sorry. But the thing is, don't go there expecting to become wealthy or famous.
Right.
In fact, most of the time you'll probably work for free. That's how these work, that's how they keep costs under. But to get an idea and fully see the behind the scenes, go check out the making of documentary for this movie, Poultry in Motion. It's on the Blu-ray we have, and you can also buy it separately from traumadirect.com. Also, be sure to check out. I gotta push it every fucking year because fucking Lloyd told me to in our interview that one time. Trauma Now, like in all of our movies that you watch or that you listen to us cover during Trauma Month can be found at Trauma Now, Trauma's streaming service. You can also get, which is really cool for a streaming service, you get the director's commentaries. You can watch these movies with the commentaries and stuff, which no other streaming service does that. So that was one of the things I thought was awesome.
Can you watch it with subtitles?
You can watch it with subtitles.
That's the only thing I don't like about these Blu-rays.
That's the thing, though. Like, I know that bothers you, but that costs a lot of money. And I think that's a good thing to talk about. Subtitles are very expensive.
And they're very important.
Yeah, especially if you want them done right, which Shudder might want to like.
Shudder needs to step up their game.
Shudder needs to give some money to the subtitle people because their subtitles suck ass.
It looks like they like put it in a computer, like put their movie next to a computer and just had the computer do it.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. So go check out Trauma Now, though. It's pretty fucking awesome. You get all sorts of stuff. And they just acquired the Hindenlotter films and stuff like that, like Frankenhooker from Blue Underground. They just acquired a bunch of those. So you can go to Trauma Now and watch Frankenhooker. It's amazing.
Nice.
We've got to cover Frankenhooker one of these days.
We'll see.
But you're like, we'll see if you're still alive after this.
So, like I said, the tomahawk. No, I think it's supposed to be like Tromahawk.
Yeah, Tromahawk.
It's Tromahawk.
Yeah.
Tribe, Indian Burial Ground. This is where we meet Arby and Wendy. They're dry humping. Arby is sad that Wendy's going off to college, and he said that he can't because his mom is special and his dad is blind, and he needs to take care of them.
Not in those words, though.
No.
I think you were like, do I write that?
Okay, I made this very politically correct.
Yes.
I left out a lot of things.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing that we were like, wait, we can't say that on here.
Right.
Like watching the movie, it's one thing because you get what they're kind of going for.
Right.
They love pushing the boundaries. Trauma does, and especially Lloyd. He loves pushing those boundaries, and he really does in this movie.
Yeah. So I left a lot of stuff out.
Yeah. We cleaned it up a little for you guys.
Sorry about that. Wendy tells him that she will stay true to him through college, and it won't change her.
Yes. Now Matt Stone and Trey Parker were actually set to do a cameo in this. The creators of South Park. They were going to play Arby's mom and dad.
Oh, nice.
But they weren't available at the time, so it got cut. But I would have loved to see that. That would have been amazing. A lot of things actually did get cut from this. They had a martial arts expert working on this movie as well, because there was a ton of action fight scenes. And
okay.
Yeah, but those got axed from the final cut because production. And I'll point out the scene where they really started going overtime. But they started going overtime and they were running out of film. So they started having to cut scenes as they went.
It was a pretty long Trauma movie.
Oh, yeah. This is a little long. But for some reason, I don't feel the length. Like, did it drag for you?
No, it didn't drag. Now, doing my notes, I was like, damn, there's a lot of shit in this.
Yeah, it's like a fast food epic. I know.
Right? So Wendy and Arby start to actually have sex now. And these dead zombie hands come up from the ground and rub all over their bodies. And they're so turned on, they don't even notice. One of the hands sticks a finger in Arby's ass and it breaks off.
And this is all within like the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yes. Then a man with an axe comes over to them and is jerking off. Wendy leaves. Arby is pissed and he leaves. Then the man grabs Wendy's underwear to sniff it and it smells horrible. Okay, so he grabs Arby's underwear.
I think he's calling him Darby.
I think he said Arby.
Oh, he's like, oh, Arby. Oh, Arby, I want to fuck your fanny.
And he jerks off to it.
I don't know why. Why? It's so funny to me.
Then a hand pops up out of the ground, shoves itself through the dude's body and out of his mouth, grabs the underwear, and pulls it back through.
There is a lot of ass trauma.
There's a lot of
shit ton of ass trauma. One guy gets his balls ripped out through his asshole. That's a way to go, I gotta say. And then the broomstick scene, which we'll get to. But so this Indian burial ground was located in Buffalo, New York, with authentic styrofoam grave markers. The parts with the arms coming out of the graves were a separate location for the effect. Now, the effect was created by burying several PAs underground, and tragically, several lost their lives during this.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, what?
I'm just kidding. You guys have got to listen to the commentaries to these things, because that's the kind of jokes Lloyd tells as he's going, because he fucks with you during the commentary. Like, he's like, oh yeah, several lost their lives.
What?
And then Gabe's like, actually it was just a platform. But it's so funny. But yeah, it's just people under a platform shoving their hands through, and it really does create a pretty cool fucking effect. I love it. I love it when they do this shit practically. Like we talked about it in Day of the Dead. They did that where the hands come out of the wall to get the heroine or whatever her name is. I forget her name off the top of my head, but
I don't know.
But yeah, when that's done practically, it looks so cool.
Oh yeah, it
and
looks
like
awesome.
it looks so much better than the CGI stuff. And you know, I hate on CGI a lot, but especially with stuff like that, because I can tell a cartoon arm from a fucking real arm.
Right.
But anyway.
So sometime later, they have now built a chicken restaurant on the burial ground. Arby pulls up, and there are a bunch of protesters outside. And I have to note this.
Yes.
He's wearing a Toxie shirt.
Yes, he's wearing the I Love the Monster shirt from the first Toxic Avenger movie,
Yes.
which you can buy those at TromaDirect.com. I don't know why I haven't bought a couple.
I want one of those.
We need to get an I Love the Monster shirt.
Yes, I want one.
Yes.
So he sees these two girls making out and realizes it's Wendy. And he gets excited to see her and shows her their old butt plug.
Which is the zombie finger. And throughout the movie, he wears this on a chain around his neck.
What the
fuck? And he keeps fucking smelling it.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. So her new girlfriend steps in and says that she is her girlfriend now.
Yeah.
And she ends up punching him in the nose. Then he breaks out into song about how he's going to get revenge, and he's going to do this by getting a job at the chicken place.
Because that'll work. But no, like, I love how it just busts out into song, because this is part musical.
Yes.
Like, that's another thing. Is this your first Troma musical?
I think this is our first musical on the show.
I think so. No, we did Rocky Horror.
Oh,
remember we sang.
That doesn't count.
If you guys have not listened to that Rocky Horror Picture Show episode, I tricked Brittany into singing, and you have got to go back and listen.
Don't do that. You'll hurt your ears.
You do a good Magenta, though. I will say
know.
you did pretty good. Like, I think you've just seen that movie too
many times. Sang the songs too many times.
But let's talk about Clam. I love. What does it stand for? Like something lesbians against
I don't remember.
Consumerism, but it's a Clam. It's what this protest group is called. So to me, this whole thing though is poking fun at the act of vanity protesting. Now I don't know if you know what that is, right?
No.
Okay, good, because I'm going to explain it to you and the listeners. Viewers. Why do I keep wanting to call them viewers?
I don't know.
I know nobody's watching this. Nobody wants to watch this. I'm holding a can of Coke Zero and talking with my hands. And there's a torta sandwich sitting in front of me that I haven't eaten yet. And I'm just staring at it.
Ooh, torta.
It's like if this was a visual medium, people would be like, why is he staring at this sandwich? It was great. I love the facts, but he kept staring at this sandwich. Anyway.
Why does he keep looking at his wife's feet?
What? This dude's a perv. He either wants to fuck the sandwich or the feet. I don't know which one.
Both.
Disturbs me. But anyway. It's a form of protesting and, activism that's more relegated to the internet these days. But mostly it's people that protest for either the attention or the clout. I mean, you see this in a lot of YouTube influencers, like Black Lives Matters. Oh my God. And then they never say a damn word after that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know the people I'm talking about.
Yes, I
And then
do.
you find out they said the N word. You're like, wait a second, what happened?
Like 4 days ago.
Yes. But they don't actually give a shit about what they protest, just as long as they're the center of attention. And we come,
Wendy.
yes, and we, and Mickey, but because we come to find out she's just in it for the money, we find out later. And now you saw this when those nice young ladies were holding signs saying how awesome Big Black Cock was during the Black Lives Matters protest.
Yeah.
You remember them? Not realizing that they were actually furthering stereotypes and the sexualization of black guys.
Right.
They're not helping. They may have actually cared about the cock, but you get my point.
I mean, me too, but
But you don't sexualize it. Come on.
No.
The underlining theme here, though, in this movie is consumerism and a send up to the fast food industry. I mean, I feel like, unlike the other trauma films that we've covered, it's more on the nose with this one, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really an underlining theme, as I just call it. It's really
it's in your face.
it's the theme. Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty simple, and you know what they're poking fun at. And we'll talk about the racist kind of things that you felt were a little too much.
I could do with that.
Lloyd himself felt they were a little too much, but he still went with it because he's a madman,
Right.
Lloyd. And of course, we all know I'm going to die on any hill that man creates. So let's go. I'm following Lloyd into the deep.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus.
So inside the chicken place, there's a box with mutant eggs. That's what I'm calling them.
With these, again, the practical effects and stuff. These eggs look great.
Oh, yeah. They're very veiny.
They reminded me of testicles throughout this entire
Yes.
thing. Like, I just thought of like a
Yes.
nasty, veiny testicle,
Oh, with like chlamydia.
Ugh. Does chlamydia make your testicles look weird?
I don't know, but
Mm.
that's just what I imagine.
You ever had the clap?
No.
That's what chlamydia is, the clap, right?
I think so.
Like the clap.
It's not the clapper. You know why they call it that, right?
The clapper?
No. Do you know why they call it the clap?
Actually, I do not know.
You
Oh, I'm about to learn something.
want to
about-
learn yourself
About to
something?
learn. We were just talking about Poultrygeist, and now we're talking about STDs. But go ahead.
So they call it that because back in the day, they would take 2 wooden boards, and that's how they got all the nastiness out. Is they would yes,
They would clap your dick?
they would smash it.
What about women?
I don't know.
Oh, just like anything, just let the women die. Is basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Probably like cut off our clits or something.
Oh, fuck. Oh, that still goes on in other countries.
I know. Anyway,
um,
so Arby goes in and he demands a job. Denny ends up hiring him. He's the manager
yeah.
or whatever. And as he learns his way around the kitchen, a chicken screams as it gets fried.
It's like our dead chicken carcasses is supposed to scream like they're being fried.
Denny's like, it's just an air pocket.
It's like, ah!
So he also meets Paco Bell, Carl Jr., and Hummus. Then they start working, and Arby is the counter girl, skirt and all.
Which he does pull off those fishnet leggings pretty well. Of course, all the main characters in this movie are named after fast food chains. That's not just us losing our minds and just naming them. Arby's, Wendy's, McDonald's is Mickey,
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Denny's, I mean, that was an obvious one. Carl Jr. and, of course, Paco Bell.
Paco Bell is my favorite.
He's amazing. Paco Bell is a homosexual Mexican guy. And it's fucking amazing. He's great. But just like, we talked about this in past trauma episodes. They don't play the gay thing for laughs.
Right.
Like
right.
it's not like, oh, he's so fucking queer or anything like that, like he just happens to be queer.
Right.
It just happens to be gay. It's not played for laughs, which that's what I was trying to tell you about, like the stuff that you feel is a little tad on the racist side in this. It's
a
like,
little.
It does have its reasons, they are poking fun at something.
We don't need to. We don't need to.
Basically, you're getting what you're getting in some of these situations is they're poking fun at the way Americans view certain stereotypes, like Muslims. That was your big hang up.
Yeah, not doing that.
Because hummus is very, very stereotyped. But the thing is, she's like one of the biggest heroes of the movie. In fact, she like saves everybody at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but you know how she does it. There shouldn't be a but after that,
There
okay?
shouldn't be a but. Okay, she suicide bombs the fucking fast food joint. But
There should be a but. There shouldn't be.
I don't know. I felt like it's handled well. I don't know how, and I don't know why it feels like it's handled well, but it is. And like I said, no Muslims have ever come after trauma. You know, we talked about Sergeant Kabuki Man, where they were like, that was the NAACP that like came after Lloyd, and then they looked at the movie and they were like, oh, this is fine. This is just good fun. Like,
That one's a little less racist.
that's true. Sergeant Kabuki Man is a little less well, I don't know. You got a white guy dressing up as Kabuki makeup.
It's still a little less racist. It is.
I just snorted.
This movie is definitely 2006.
It is
not
It is.
2021.
And this is after 2001. That's another thing to keep in mind. This is after September 11th.
Yeah, but you got to think too. This is the shit. Like YouTube had just started not that long before, and this is what they were doing to get viewers, was shocking people.
Yeah, but I don't think it's played for shocks.
I didn't say it was.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is supposed to shock you into paying attention to something. But to
Right.
me, like right after 2001, think about what we were thinking about Muslim people. Hell, think about how we thought about Native Americans. I mean,
Right.
people were killing Native Americans because they looked Muslim.
Yeah.
Like, so like when you think about that, like, and think about like the way we perceive people who are Muslim who happen to live in this country, you know,
Right.
that's what they're showing you, how ridiculous it is. Because if you notice, all the characters throughout this movie are all calling her like different names and like really racist shit
right.
when that's not what she's doing.
Right.
Like, so it's a play on that, you know.
I get it. Still not
You're
going
like,
to speak it.
I still wouldn't put it in my movie.
No, that's not what I said.
And the thing is, I don't think you're going to get away with this in any other production besides a trauma movie.
Right.
Because I think
But that was my point.
uh-huh.
Is 2006.
Yeah, true.
I'm coming that from a 2021 standpoint when you got to come from a 2006 standpoint.
Well, yeah, and there wouldn't be a reason to do this in 2021.
Exactly.
There wouldn't be a reason to highlight, like, hey, you know, are we being ridiculous about stereotyping these people? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so there wouldn't be a reason to do this, and they wouldn't. They
Right.
haven't. But okay, so also though, besides the Muslim and the racist stuff, here's another one that you had a problem with is Native Americans in this film, how they're treated.
Right.
Because the whole thing is based on a Native American burial ground where they built the chicken, and that's why the chicken come back because of a curse and stuff like that. Which we come to find out. Arby doesn't really come to find out because he's a fucking dumbass. But basically a lot of the stuff that we're going to leave out here is like a legitimate huge take on what white culture has done to Native Americans. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we quite literally have taken their land and built chicken restaurants and got them all addicted to alcohol.
Right.
Those are the three big things they hit in this movie. And we're not going to highlight them because it's a little different talking about it than watching it.
Right.
I think that's another thing, you know, so none of you are like, oh, you cowards. It's like, well,
I mean,
it's a little
am.
different describing it to you because I don't have the sensibilities that Lloyd does in a movie, and Gabe isn't editing our podcast.
And like I said, this was a 2006.
Yes.
And we're in 2021.
And that is funny because, like, how old is this movie? Holy shit.
2006.
God.
Before
I'm
I
so
graduated high
fucking
school.
Old. I graduated high school when this came out. I remember it.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, we're old. We don't need to go into that. But so Jason Yakinin plays Arby, and his energy, I feel like, helps move this movie along. You know what I mean? He does a fantastic job acting like a dumbass, but not a dumbass. He does this really well. Like, and what's really weird, because we obviously find out that, Lloyd's in this movie, and he does play a future Arby, which is fine to say because we're supposed to know it. That's the joke.
Right.
But like, they look alike.
They
It's
do.
really fucking weird.
They do.
A lot of people asked if that's like, if he's related to Lloyd, but like, he's not. But Rose Gavami, who plays the character of Hummus, which we just talked at length about, was in charge of casting as well. And she was actually Lloyd's personal assistant.
Oh, nice.
So she had a lot to do. And that's another thing, like, to keep in mind. A lot of these people were doing double duty and stuff like that.
You
Double
said duty.
But we'll kind of touch on it. But temperatures, not just outside weather temperatures. Temperatures were high on this fucking set. People were mad.
Oh, shit.
Like, yeah. But so as Lloyd puts it, though, as a gay married man, he's a huge fan of musicals. He's not. It's a joke.
Is he gay?
No.
Oh.
It's a joke he tells.
I was like, okay.
No, it's a joke he tells. But he's a huge fan of musicals. So anytime he gets to put a musical number in his movies, he will. And you notice this in a lot of his movies. Like Sergeant Kabuki Man had a ton of different parts where it was almost a musical.
Right.
So he loves putting musical numbers in his movies. And it just like, I'm like, just make one big ass musical, Lloyd.
He did.
Oh, we kind of did with this, didn't
Poultrygeist.
he? Yeah, Poultrygeist. Oh, shit. Okay.
So they finally open for their grand opening. Ron Jeremy comes running in, screaming about how this was built on a burial ground and how they are all doomed. Then a dude that is pretending to be Jared, the subway guy, comes in, and he has...
I'm sorry. Oh.
I thought you were going to say something.
The looks during this scene, not so much Ron Jeremy, but during this scene coming up, that you were giving me throughout this thing were just, I just ate it up. It was so amazing. You're like, what have you done? What are you doing to this show? Are we going to watch horror movies anymore? What are we doing here?
Well, so he's this big, huge, fat dude. And he orders food, and the kitchen staff just throws everything together, like just throw shit on the plate.
Well, it's the low-fat sausage meal with extra kernel gravy.
Pretty sure that
it was everything tossed together. Did you see that fucking gravy? It was just gray water. Oh, Jesus.
And one of the mutant eggs ends up on his plate. So he eats it because, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? He immediately has to take a shit.
Bathroom now.
And he goes to the bathroom to eat his food and shit in peace.
I want to know how many drunk people that listen to the show have actually eaten while they're taking a shit. Has that happened? It happened to me once. I ate a sandwich while I was taking a poop. Wasn't my finest achievement, but it, I got the sandwich down. Made me giggle a little because I was like, is this like some kind of weird, like, the circle of life thing? Or is this deeper than it is? But anyway, so notable sexual assault artist Ron Jeremy busted into the scene earlier, and he is in a lot of trauma flicks. Ron had a whole monologue that was cut from this. He had a 10-minute monologue that he memorized he just did it beat for beat as soon as they gave it to him. But that got cut. And I feel like it was, I don't know. I feel like it was to be able to include the Citizen Kane of diarrhea scenes that we get in a few minutes. I don't know why you didn't like this so much. It gets such a huge laugh from me.
Because you're a 12-year-old boy.
That's true. We're sitting there watching, and I wish you guys, we're going to have to start doing that. Filming the reactions.
Nope.
Because I'm sitting here giggling my goddamn ass off, and Brittany's just sitting off to the side, just staring daggers.
I don't need to see someone shit for 5 minutes straight.
Like, I was
okay?
giggling and I was like, I think they just make movies for me sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
12-year-old boy.
Well, this might freak you out, though. We almost had Ron Jeremy guest on this show.
What?
Yes, I was in talks with his manager to come on this show.
Oh, I think you told me that.
Yes. And then the news broke that he'd been charged with over 30 counts of sexual assault. Allegedly. He hasn't actually been charged yet. But it freaked me out so much, I literally took a break from interviews. I was like, I ain't fucking setting up shit no more. I don't know who's a child molester, who's a fucking rapist, who the fuck knows anymore. So I was just like, let's just see how all this shakes out. Luckily, because a few more horror people have all of a sudden become fucking terrible. But now, of course, no Trauma Month would be complete without the wonderful and underrated fat guy actor, Joe Flyshaker, who plays a wonderful send-up of Jared Fogle from the Subway ads. Now, this was before we all knew. This is before we found out that Jared was running a child sex ring for himself disguised as a weight loss seminar.
Oh,
luckily he's in jail. Hopefully he rots.
These fucking people. He's probably shitting his brains out from getting fucked so hard.
Now, that's not funny. Don't make fun of prison rape. But we will make fun of him getting beaten to death.
What? Don't make fun of prison rape? We are talking about Muslims blowing themselves up, and you said don't make fun of...
Don't make fun of prison rape. That really happens.
I swear to God.
They don't make fun of rape in this.
Thank goodness.
I love you. Anyway, but Joe Flyshaker. Oh, and by the way, leave it up to Trauma to predict that Jared was an awful, shitty human being in real life.
Yeah.
But Joe Flyshaker, on the other hand, is a wonderful person, a bit larger than life. He passed away in 2016, I believe. Now, he had one whole year to memorize his 4 lines of dialogue in this film. And he kept fucking it up so bad that they had to have Jason Yakinin, who plays Arby, hold cue cards up out of the frame of the camera.
While he's fake shitting in the toilet?
No. While he's ordering.
Okay.
At the thing. No, that was improvised on the toilet.
Oh, okay.
But if you watch the making of this movie, Lloyd is behind Jason. And fucking, he keeps fucking it up. Joe Flyshaker, and you progressively see Lloyd just get more and more pissed off.
He's like, you have 4 lines.
Yes. Oh my God. Everybody was mad during the shooting of this. That's one.
Was it the drugs?
No drugs on a trauma set, man. You can't be doing that.
That doesn't mean he wasn't on drugs before he came to set.
Joe Flyshaker?
I don't know.
He was on cheeseburgers. The man got so big, and I love Joe Flyshaker, first of all, but the man got so big that he came up with these Velcro things to stick on his wall so he could just sit in his chair and reach behind him and grab everything off his Velcro squares.
Sounds like me.
So, I mean, if you want to live like Joe Flyshaker, he came up with a pretty good system for how to do it. I mean, he had like a 6-foot long reacher thing. Yeah. He had a special made one and stuff, and all his delivery men that would just bring things into the house because a new Joe can't make it outside.
Yeah. So he died of a heart attack? Diabetes?
I'm pretty sure it was something. It was something bad. They tried to raise money for his health care thing, for his bills, but it didn't get enough money. But
so you're saying that he didn't make any money when he was shitting on the toilet?
No, this is all for free. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't memorize my lines either.
But this is Trauma's sex symbol. I mean, come on.
What?
It's a joke, Lloyd tells. But Joe's time with Trauma lasted for decades, and his last appearance was in Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2. That's the entire title of that movie.
Return to.
And of course, the joke was he would always play as a stand-in for Trauma co-founder Michael Hirst. So if you ever watched like the behind the scenes, it would label as Michael Hirst, and he'd be sitting there playing. One of my favorite things Joe ever did was a bonus feature, because the bonus features on Trauma's DVDs and Blu-rays are insane. Like it's just random shit. It's so fun. But there's one that he did, and I believe it was on the Toxic Avenger Blue DVD. But he did the nutritional facts about a cheeseburger. And he was like, see, the cheeseburger is a perfect food. He's like, you got your sugars in the ketchup. You got your meat, the protein. He's like, you got your lettuce. There's your veggies. He's like, you got your grains in the bread. And then he's just like, then you eat it. Just fucking chows on this burger.
God.
But no, Joe is so fucking amazing. And now Joe, you know, we meet the general later in the movie.
Yes.
He was almost cast as the general.
Oh, thank God he wasn't.
You just read Lloyd's mind, because when Gabe told him he wanted Joe Flightshaker to be the general, Lloyd was like, there's no way in fucking hell
No.
he could pull that off.
No. He can't remember 4 lines, let alone half a fucking movie.
Plus also, he couldn't move very well.
I could see that.
Yeah, he couldn't move very well, so his mobility wasn't that great. But I don't know, man. It's a joy to see Joe pop up in these movies. He just plays these kind of parts, and it's great.
Right. So Wendy comes in to talk to Arby, and she gives the speech about chicken cruelty, and all we hear is the dude shitting his brains out.
Yes, in the back, because she's sitting there showing these postcards.
Someone like walking a chicken.
Yeah, walking a chicken. Then it shows like a chicken with like with OJ Simpson. And then I don't know why this scene, like I said, the Citizen Kane of shit diarrhea scenes. Because over all this, you hear Joe Fleischhacker shitting himself to death. And she's showing these like propaganda things of chicken, like Hitler saluting a chicken. And then remember that famous thing? What was that? That prison where they took the terrorists and they were posing with. Anyway, it was a chicken instead of the terrorists. But it's so fucking good.
So then Arby makes a speech about how so he calls him the colonel, but it's really the general. I think he's talking about Colonel Sanders. Rose up from the KKK and became a chicken icon.
I love the little bits that they do, hinting that he was like a white supremacist.
It wasn't hinting.
Oh, no. Later, where he says something about get those matches. This cross ain't gonna light itself. Oh, shit. Oh.
And he says that they are just trying to bring down America. He tells the lesbians that they should make love and not war. And the girls say, okay. And they all started kind of like fucking at this like checkout counter.
Oh my God.
But turns out they weren't actually doing that. And Arby was just fucking the cash register.
He goes back. He's like, oh yeah. Here comes my moisture-seeking missile.
Ew. And Wendy says that she can't love anyone that wants her to eat cock, and she runs off crying.
You gotta admit, the comedy is pretty fucking spot on.
Oh yeah.
This is a funny fucking movie. I'm not sure how you're feeling so far, like during this movie while you're watching it. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm still hung up on the shit.
Why is the diarrhea scene not funny to you?
I'm not a 12-year-old boy.
I guess.
I don't want to see.
I feel like the boys, like if I showed them that scene, because it's not overly dirty, you know, but I think they'd have a great time. Like
that's because they are 12. Actually, he's only 10. 10, 6.
Seeing a fat man 4. Explode shit all over the place.
If I let them talk about
crying.
Poop and farting all day long, they would.
They would. And I do it with them. I need to stop. Because we'll be in the car, just all us boys, just making fart and poop jokes the whole road down.
Hey, I've been pretty good about making my own jokes myself.
That's true. You're getting in on it. You're catching on.
I have to bond somehow.
Because it's funny.
Like, it is kind of funny, but like...
At least they're not calling each other fuckwads or some shit or depressed, you know? They're laughing about shit. Shit's funny.
I understand. not watching someone shit in a toilet. Like literally watching him shit in a toilet.
You do see the shit come out of his ass.
Yeah, I don't need to see somebody's asshole. I've never. We've been together 5 years, and I've never seen your asshole.
True.
And I don't want to.
Now, Buffalo, where this is shot, was
Just change the
Just
fucking
change the
subject.
Now, Buffalo, where this was shot, is an actually like it's a pretty conservative place in New York. And the property owner of this derelict McDonald's said no nudity could be shot in this place. So that's why they roll onto the floor during this scene, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Because they actually had a cutaway set, and they filmed this in the church's basement. The church I said they filmed.
They could do the nudity.
I guess they could do. The church didn't care. Now, there was a time where a cleaning lady showed up at the church, and she comes up, and they have signs that say "I love cock," and of course she was like, "What the fuck?" But
what is happening?
but no, I guess the church didn't care about the nudity.
They're like, you do whatever. So the dude is still shitting.
It is long. This shit scene's long, really. If you think about it, it's like a 10-minute shit scene.
Yeah, I could do 2 minutes.
That's what I was saying.
2 minute stops.
That's what I was saying. Citizen Kane of shit scenes, man. If he had said like Rosebud as the turd dropped out of his asshole, I think this movie would win awards.
Anyway, and this chicken thing comes out of his asshole and went back in through his body. Then he explodes shit everywhere all over this bathroom until this smaller man comes out of his body.
He shits himself so bad that he shits out his muscles or something. He shits himself out of his own asshole. You were like, what the fuck just happened? Because I was like, okay, let me get a grasp here because I'm going to have to explain this. I was like, I think what happened was he just shit himself out.
Yeah. Then himself goes running out of the bathroom yelling about how skinny he is.
And it's an ADR of Joe Flyshaker.
Yes.
He's like, I'm skinny. Woohoo!
Just runs off.
Oh, fuck. Now, whoa, man, I feel like I've been laughing this entire time. Now, you may notice when we zoom in on Jared's asshole.
Okay. I wasn't paying that much attention.
Okay, where else are you going to hear a sentence like that besides Night of the Horror File?
When you zoom in on Jared's asshole.
No other movie podcasts are like, okay, so when we get the close-up of this man's asshole. But you'll notice the poop sliding out of the fake ass cheeks. It was a fake ass. Is covered by censor bars.
Because it's really weird.
Yeah, which is really, yeah, because he does it in a great way. Gabe edited this movie. Gabe from Friedman. And he does it to where like each individual turd has a censor bar, so it looks even worse. I don't know how. But you may be wondering why the censor. Like, is there an uncut version of this? Is there the shit cut? Like, is that out there somewhere? Could we get the shit cut?
Only you. Only you.
But Pat Kaufman, Lloyd's wife, worked on the New York Film Board. And it was actually, and here's the weird part about films, people. It's a problem to show shit coming out of an ass. Titties, penis monsters, and racism is fine. But no assholes, I guess.
I'm good with that.
You're like, I didn't need to see.
I didn't need a 10-minute shit scene.
I did. I need more of this. If it was just, the movie was just Joe Flyshaker shitting himself for an hour and a half, I think I'd have a good time.
I would quit the show. Like, that's what you would make me do. Nope, quit. Quit. I absolutely refuse. And you'd be like, you have to for the fans. Well, then I'm not having sex with you for a month.
Do it for the fans. But I've said that more than once.
Too many times.
Do it for the fans. Again, this was a bad day shooting this movie. Everyone was angry and fighting. Joe Flyshaker couldn't fucking move on the ground to shake around like he should be doing. So
right.
they got a fat guy to stand in for it. They got a stunt fat guy.
Oh my God.
He had to be brought in. Special effects weren't working. You know that really cool shot of where Joe Flyshaker shits himself out
Yeah,
and his
so
like
cool.
head caves in and sucks itself into his body.
Yeah, that's
I think
so
it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that thing wasn't working. So the camera was fucking malfunctioning because Lloyd, he's awesome with handheld shooting, but he said he swear the lens was fucked up or something because he couldn't get the shot framed right. So that meant reshoots. So they had to do it over again. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Which is a detriment when you can barely afford film. Like,
right.
we talked about it, and I believe yes, we talked about this on our episode on Intruder, the Scott Spiegel movie. Now,
How can you remember all of these things, but you can't remember to take the trash to the curb?
Because film is my life.
You said we watched a movie called Intruder. I don't remember this.
Oh, that was our Danny Hicks tribute episode.
Cool.
Oh, well, go back and listen to Intruder because we talk about the cost of film. It is expensive.
I remember having that conversation.
Yeah.
Did I watch a movie called Intruder?
Yes, you did. Remember?
Nope.
Here comes Charlie Parker walking down the road. A head in one hand and a sandwich in the other. Remember that?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, shit. Anyway.
Yes.
I'm sure the listener remembers.
I do remember that part.
Yeah. But anyway, go back and listen to that because we talk about the cost of film. So imagine, all that fucking film you're wasting doing reshoots. You cannot afford that shit.
Ooh, Lloyd's probably like pissed the fuck
Oh, he
off.
was. Like I said, go watch Poultry in Motion, people. Like it's such a great, and most of the behind the scenes on movies, right? They will never show you the bad things that happen, right?
Right.
Like it's always makes it look like the movie making project. It's so fun. We're having a great time on the set. Tom Cruise isn't screaming at nobody. Brad Pitt didn't pull a gun on me. Everything's fine. Everything's so fine. But on this, though, everybody's getting pissed. Fucking Lloyd's yelling at people, calling them the R word. It's fucking crazy. And it's an unflinching look at the pure hell that it was to fucking do this.
Oh, damn.
Yes. There was one point while shooting this, because all their power was coming from these 2 power boxes they set up in the back of this old ass McDonald's. And it, of course, was raining. So guess where all that water from the roof was going? To the fucking power boxes. So they had to cover those, get up on the roof. They had 2 PAs, and I think Gabe was up there shoveling water off this fucking roof the entire fucking time.
Did you have to do the shoveling motion?
Yes, I did. Again, this isn't a visual medium, but to give you the idea.
I know what shoveling looks like.
Anyway, it was a bad day.
So Denny's pissed, and he makes Arby clean up all this shit mess. Arby starts to clean, but he has to have a musical number about love, and Wendy's outside singing about chicken slaughter.
And how she misses her salad being tossed. I don't know what that line has to do with it.
And they're singing about how they're star-crossed lovers.
No. Now, this whole music number, Jason, who plays Arby, he improvised the moves for this. And now you're like, I could fucking tell.
Yeah.
Now, there is a whole bedroom sequence I noticed you left out.
I know, because I didn't know how to include it, so I was just going to talk about it.
It's nicely choreographed and everything.
There's like 6 naked women.
There is a shit ton of boobs.
Boobless. Or
yes,
boobless.
the boobless. Whoa.
Topless women.
There is a ton of boob shots in a single scene, and I think it's the most we've ever covered on the show in a single scene.
I think so.
I mean,
and they're all different kinds of boobs.
Oh yeah. You got all the different kinds of boobs of the rainbow. It's amazing.
It is.
It's something for everybody. But anyway.
Surprisingly, all I could focus on was how Mickey's farmer's tan bothered me so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Mickey had nice feet.
I don't look at people's feet.
I'm fucked up. Anyway.
She looked like she could choke slam you into the ground.
Ooh.
She's so muscly.
Ooh. Anyway. Like I said, most boobs in a single shot I think we've ever had on this show. Most of the extras did this for free and were crew members. The leads got paid, of course. A few of these extras, though, were actually Suicide Girls.
Oh,
the
nice.
models from that website. If you're familiar, the listener, if you guys are familiar with that site, it promotes alternative body types, which is
I love
kinda
me a
nice.
suicide girl.
Yes, tattoos, all the good things.
Oh, yeah.
Brittany's. You
I
need
kind
to
of, that's how I knew
sanitize
I,
that chair.
Oh. You can lick it up later.
Oh shit. Anyway, I'm sorry, listener. Save that for shooting the shit. That's when we get dirty. But also, I don't know why I get a giggle out of this, but their shorts say "eat clam."
I mean, yeah, you should.
Sure. But it gets a giggle. Mickey, who's played by Alison Saraboff, had a slight issue with this scene, though. A few of them actually did. She felt it was way too pornographic than needed. Like, not the dancing and stuff, but originally Lloyd wanted her to have an orgasm at the end of this, like a shrieking orgasm. She just felt that was pushing it too far.
Yeah, a little bit.
A
We
little
didn't
bit,
need it.
yeah. And there's a few things like that a couple of the actresses got hung up on. This scene and then a scene towards the end of the movie that I'll talk about. But it's kind of funny, especially watching the making of, where you're seeing they're doing all this nudity and stuff like that, and you're like, this one thing like was just too far. And it's kind of funny, like, because she's not actually having an orgasm,
Right.
She wouldn't be doing that. She would just be faking it. But it's funny what will be the one thing you won't go
Right.
towards. It's never what you think, It's never like, oh, we need you to swallow this chicken neck and make it look like a dick. It's just something simple, like fake an orgasm.
Right.
I just find that very fascinating,
Well, it's not needed.
Yeah,
They're not having sex.
that's true. Like,
So,
and
like,
it doesn't
it'd just
make
be-
much sense.
Yeah, it would just be weird.
Yeah. But Lloyd did agree, but like I said, I'm going to stand by Lloyd's every decision. Also, and this happens several times, Gabe said, if you watch the behind the scenes, there are so many boners during the making of this movie. Gabe said one of the camera operators during this scene, he couldn't stand up because of his obvious boner, so he excused himself as not to make everybody uncomfortable.
What the hell?
Well, think about it. Think about this. A lot of these people working on this movie are straight out of school. They're just getting into the film industry. They've never shot a fucking nude scene. And now you have 10 sets of titties staring you right in the face.
And the lesbians on the
And
bed.
the lesbians. And there's a scene later that we won't talk about because we can't go into every bit of the chicken puke orgy that I call it.
Oh my God.
We can't go into every, there's so much happening. But there's a part where one of the chicken zombies is like sucking on this dude's neck.
Yeah.
Well, she's supposed to be eating his neck, but like she was in real life sucking on it.
Uh-huh.
And the behind the scenes shit, they were like, does that kid have a boner? Because she had just gotten done and he has this big ass boner. They were laughing their asses off. But I mean, who wouldn't? Come on.
Me?
I don't know. I think
don't
my
either.
problem is I'm attracted to everything. So like you rub up against me, I'm getting a boner. I'm sorry.
I know.
Like, it's so sad.
I know. I can't walk by you.
Yeah, it's just like, oh shit.
Anyway, a limo with the general in it comes to the restaurant. He is met with the protesters, so he starts singing and dancing with Wendy. And they're trying to change each other's minds about the fast food industry.
And of course, we already mentioned, the general's take on Colonel Sanders and all the rumors about him being racist. Nothing got proved, but maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
He was a
either.
white man during the 40s. Anyway.
That's a big indicator.
It's always safe to just assume. But also, again, like with every Lloyd Kaufman film, we can't cover every sight gag, as I've already mentioned.
I can't.
You
I
can't. There's
do it.
so many sight gags in this movie. They do such a good job at detail for how low budget they did. Like there's labels on the food containers. There's like labels of the restaurant on the fucking food containers with like the nutrition facts and everything. Like
dang.
they go all out on the detail and stuff. But Robin Watkins plays the general, and of course we get another lovely musical number here. Ron actually went on to handle a lot of Trauma's convention scheduling and contacts and stuff. So if you contact to get Trauma at your convention, you're probably going to talk to Ron. So,
that's cool.
Ask for the general.
I'm sure he wants to be called that.
Also, okay, Brendan Flint. We've talked about Brendan Flint, I believe, on the show before, but he's worked with Lloyd in the past and stuff like that. Well, Brendan doesn't like to read the script. So they had issues with that because a lot of this stuff relies on jokes.
Right.
Like a lot more than most of the other Trauma movies. So he would come in and just be like, why am I shooting this? This is stupid.
Oh,
why am I doing this? So they would clash and fight. Him and Gabe were fighting constantly with these jokes and shit. Because Brendan just didn't find it funny.
I mean, I can't say I disagree.
And Brendan's a wonderful cinematographer, first of all. I know him and Gabe probably don't get along anymore after this. But he's a wonderful cinematographer.
So in the restaurant, Paco Bell is... Paco Bell.
I forget about their names until you say them.
I know. He's grinding up some chicken parts, and he's going to add his zesty sauce to it.
It's cum.
Yeah. Arby's in the back and says that he needs a napkin after cleaning up all that shit. So this chicken mascot shows up to hand him one and scares him. The man takes off his costume and makes a speech about being young and having to take this job and describing basically that he is Arby from the future.
Yeah, he does it without even, he says it without saying it, and Arby still doesn't fucking get it.
No.
Of course, the gag is, like I said, that obviously future Arby is, we know who that is. But young Arby is a complete dipshit. But mature Arby is, of course, played by the maestro himself, Lloyd Kaufman. And I felt it hilarious because during his scenes, I mentioned to you that I had a 2-hour, while you were watching this, I was like, during these scenes he has and dance numbers and stuff, I mentioned to you, I was like, I had a 2-hour intellectual conversation about consumerism, French auteurs, and big Hollywood with this man. Who we then proceed to see the ass for several scenes. We see Lloyd's ass.
And then I accidentally missed something and I pushed the button and I rewound it by accident.
It's all Lloyd's ass again.
Again. I was like, really?
Oh, I've seen Lloyd's ass so many times. I think that sums up Trauma, though, really. Highbrow art posing as lowbrow. That sums it up. But also, one thing I'll repeat is Trauma does a great job at portraying all sorts of body types. Let's just reinforce that.
I guess so. So Paco says he's starting a revolution by coming in the chicken. What?
Oh, the revolution is coming.
So this crazed mutant chicken runs through, turns on the grinder, and pushes Paco into the grinder thing. Blood goes spraying everywhere. The general and Denny come in and blame hummus.
Of course.
Arby and future Arby sing a song about how pathetic future Arby is and how optimistic present Arby is.
Yes.
And I have to see Lloyd's ass a few times. A few too many times.
You and the crew, by the way. In fact, Lloyd had a wardrobe malfunction during this part where he bends over, and the cast and crew got to see their boss's balls flop out of his underwear.
Delicious.
Pat, Lloyd's wife, taught him how to do these dance moves, by the way.
Oh.
He said it was the only time she's ever yelled at him.
Oh.
Also, oh my God, have you ever seen Pat and Lloyd together?
No.
They were on the last drive-in, and I've seen them.
Oh, yes.
I've seen them in videos and stuff, and he posts a lot of because they cook together. That's like one of their activities. They were the cutest and sweetest couple you'll ever fucking see.
Probably very crude.
Oh yeah, definitely. But of course, so Lloyd, during his shooting his scenes, he got the giggles,
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. And so Lloyd starts giggling, and then Jason got them. So now And then the camera operator, he only sees Jason laughing. And again, keep in mind, everybody's tensions are high. So he assumes Jason's ruining the scene and smacks him in the face.
Are you serious?
He hit him, yeah. And of course, Jason walks off set and leaves.
Yeah.
They assumed, oh shit, he quit.
Oh shit.
Of course, he came back and finished, but Lloyd was like, that was my fault. That was he was like, he almost quit over fucking nothing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's like I said.
I'd quit too if somebody punched me in the
Oh
face.
yeah, like, well, smacked him.
Still,
no, yeah. And that, like I said, fucking, this was hell. But back on Brendan Flint and Gabe and Lloyd. Now, Lloyd had a relationship with Brendan, so it's not like Brendan was a dick. It's just he'd show up without reading that script, you know, and not getting what he was shooting.
right.
Like, so he'd shoot these scenes and not really know how the jokes were supposed to play out. Combined with all the money problems and reshoots and the fucking heat, they were at the point of fucking beating each other's asses. Like, they're yelling at each other the entire time. And at one point, the martial arts guy who I mentioned. Yes, there was a martial arts guy working on this movie. Who he was a huge Trauma fan, and he came all the way from Japan
Oh damn.
to help with this movie. Brendan pissed him off somehow, and everyone kind of liked him. His name was Yoshi. So they don't laugh at that. That's racist.
I wasn't.
The man's real name is Yoshi.
I believe it.
So they more just kind of kept Yoshi from beating the shit out of Brendan. They weren't really defending him. They were just like, you can't do this.
Oh
Don't
my
beat his
God.
ass. But you can actually see this like fight happening in the making of the movie, the Poultry in Motion.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm saying go watch that. It is awesome. But after that, Yoshi got on a bus and left. Like, he was done. He quit.
I fuck this shit.
What's really funny though is if you listen to these director commentaries, Lloyd will not say a bad word about anybody.
Oh yeah.
He will not say a bad word about Brendan. He won't say a bad word about Yoshi.
No, he understood.
It's great. Yeah,
he understood the stress.
Because it'd be easy to blame somebody. You know what I mean?
Right. So the general is trying to find out what happened and says that he thinks Paco slipped on the chicken carcass.
The chicken carcass is hanging unassumingly on an off switch.
Arby walks in and wants to know where Paco is. Denny says he sent him home for the day, and Arby believes him, even though there's blood everywhere. The general tells Denny that they're staying open, and they don't want the press to find out about a dead guy on the opening day. Carl comes in and takes the chicken carcass.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a
We're
minute.
about to get to more scenes. More
There's
amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing scenes.
Amazing.
Amazing. Like
Amazing.
award-winning scenes is what we're getting out of this
Oh.
film. I'm going to start the Night of the Horrorphile Awards, and it's going to go to everybody that everybody underappreciates. Is what I'm going to say.
Is it really underappreciated? We're not going to go into it because we haven't gotten there
The
yet.
Night of the Horrorphile Awards, fucking all of it just goes to Lloyd Kaufman.
You're too much.
You know, if you pay
Anyway.
his airfare, he'll come and appear at the award ceremony. Oh, anyway, so funny story.
Probably not.
But this movie made national headlines at one point.
Oh, really?
National headlines. In 2011, a guy bought what he thought was a DVD cleaner. You remember those old things?
Yeah.
Like they had the brushes on them and shit, and they never really did anything. They couldn't clean shit. But it turned out to be a copy of Poultrygeist.
Oh, gosh.
So, of course, this guy was not prepared for the sights he was about to see because he commented that it was a horrifying experience and it was a XXX movie.
I mean, kind of.
But could you imagine? Because I'm like, oh man, he was probably such a button-up dude. You know what I mean? Like, just pop in Poultrygeist. Well, this isn't it. This is a strange DVD. That's a zombie finger in that boy's asshole. Mother!
Why did he watch all of it? Did he
Right?
watch all of it?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious about. It's like, at what point did you turn it off?
Because I'm turning it off at Zombie Finger.
Yeah. Like, What you doing?
I mean, I might go a little further than Zombie Finger, but I'm turning it off at jerking off to Arby's underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, would you ever watch one of these movies? Like, if, like, just out of the blue, would you have picked this up and watched it?
No. Isn't the whole premise of this podcast that I have never picked up a movie and watched it?
That's fucking true. That would ruin this podcast. So
Right?
we
Like-
rely on that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And the ones that you have seen, you don't remember, so it even works even better.
So we can just repeat.
We could do like
No, once I start watching the movie, I'll know I watched it. I
Right,
am not
right.
good with connecting names.
not like I am.
No.
I reel back on that on the show. I don't go too deep. Like, okay, I go a little deep, but like you heard Eli Roth talking on the last drive-in
yes,
the
I
other
did.
night. Yeah, I could do that. And I don't want to because I don't think the comedy would be there if I just fucking did 3 hours of that.
Right.
Because I was sitting there to say, I was like, man, I could totally be best friends with Eli Roth.
Yeah, you could.
Like,
You can do that.
You're like, go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
We may or may not have an Eli Roth month coming. Just saying. It may be coming because I was thinking, I
Oh,
was
something's
like,
gonna be coming.
oh my God. Hey, he's a fucking hot motherfucker. But,
I will delay getting my tubes tied.
ew. But like, no, I had remembered, I was like, I fucking love Hostel 2. Like, Hostel is good. The first Hostel movie is pretty good, but Hostel 2 is fucking amazing. So I
That's
was
what you
like-
were saying. Yeah.
So I was like, I would love to do a double feature, you know, Hostel and Hostel 2, and then like a few of his other movies, like The Green Inferno, which is a love letter to Cannibal Holocaust. and
Oh,
stuff
right,
like that.
right.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Watching his movies, a lot of people do not like him because he gets that old, like, 80s horror and stuff like that, and that old thinking
Yeah.
and kind of shock factor. I mean, you saw Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
We did an episode on that. Cabin Fever.
like that
And so,
movie.
yeah, it's like he has that sensibility. So it's movies like what you would have seen years ago.
Right.
But today, and it's really cool. Anyway, we're not talking. We're in Trauma Month. Eli Roth actually worked for Trauma during his early career. That's where he learned all this stuff. He worked for Trauma.
I think we did know that. Yes.
Yes, I think we talked about it at length during the first Trauma Month. There's so many trauma movies. We're gonna have Trauma Month for until I'm dead, I think.
So Arby's taking orders, and the town priest complains that he has a severed penis in his food.
That's not what you want.
Priests might actually.
Oh no.
Maybe he
it's
just
too
likes
big.
them.
Yeah.
It's too big, and he
It's
likes
too
them
big,
attached to the
penis.
little boys.
Yeah. I like how we're talking about how do you handle racism in your movie, and then we're like, priest fuck boys. Like, well, actually, that's just a fact.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
shit.
That's what I was thinking.
Never
Like,
mind. All right, that's not even a bad thing to say.
and if that's racist of me to say,
No, that's
whatever.
not really racist. What would you call that? A fact?
I don't know. It is just a fact.
Yeah. Oh God.
And if they get mad about it,
Well,
then
first of
maybe
all-
they shouldn't be priests
First of all,
fucking little
if
boys.
a priest is listening to our show, they need to reevaluate what they do. They may be praying for us.
I hope not.
There's a whole group. There's a whole room right now listening to this episode praying for our souls.
Okay, good
And
luck.
then he kept shitting. Oh Lord, Mother, thou art in heaven. Pray for this young man.
Anyway, so Arby goes to make him some more food, and the sandwich comes to life. It's Paco.
Yay.
Paco Bell is now a sandwich.
It's the Taco Paco sandwich.
He says that he wants a proper burial. And he also says that bad things are about to happen because of the restaurant being built on the burial ground. He also says that they need to act fast, and he has to find Arby has to find their one true weakness, and he's going to tell them what it is, and then everybody comes in the room.
So did you ever think that
No.
you were going to be watching a movie with a talking taco sandwich and a severed penis in the same film.
No.
When we started the show, you didn't think...
I didn't think that there was going to be severed penises for some reason. Or talking sandwiches, let alone in the same movie. And I watched a 500-pound man shit himself.
Oh, it has been a roller coaster ride for you, sweetie. So the sandwich here, Brendan, as we talked about, he straight up refused to shoot this fucking scene because he thought it was so goddamn stupid.
Oh my god.
And of course, Gabe and him got into another yelling fight. Lloyd shows up and is like, yeah, that does kind of suck. And then they all get into it. As Lloyd puts it, though, through chaos comes art. And of course, during the commentary, Gabe is like, that's bullshit, dude. They're hilarious in the commentary. They just kind of bicker every now and then. It's so funny.
So the general walks in and the press, with the press, and says that the blood is just wallpaper. He introduces them to Arby and eats the Paco sandwich.
Shit.
Carl is in the back dancing with his chicken, starts making out with it, and then... I can't. He pulls out an old condom and starts fucking the chicken.
And I think we found Brittany's breaking point. But, hey, think about this, though. Carl asks this dead chicken for consent. Huh? So, yeah, you make sure you take note of that. Even if it's a dead chicken carcass, consent is a must. We're very big on consent.
Not in that one state. Fuck.
What?
Did you hear about that law?
No. Okay, hang on.
I don't remember what state it's in, but they just passed a new law that if a female, I guess just a person in general, it doesn't necessarily have to be a female. If you drink alcohol and then you get raped, you consented to sex.
Whoa. What the fuck?
If you can't say no, then you consented to sex.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making t-shirts for women.
Okay.
To wear under their normal t-shirts that just say, I said no. You know?
But you have to verbally say it.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll have a little sound clip that if
you
you're real
record.
drunk and you're having a hard time saying no, you just punch that button. You punch that button, say no. Or you know what?
How about we stop
like a gun?
How about we stop trying to protect the women and we teach the men not to rape people?
Yeah. Like, you know, joke. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Why is it? Oh my God, we've got to discuss this on shooting the shit. This is our next discussion point on shooting the shit, which, by the way, you guys have got to go listen to shooting the shit. We cover a lot of hot topics that we don't normally cover on here because of, sensitive ears.
Right.
But go there and we'll talk about that over there. But yes, so consent is a must.
Oh,
and
yes,
he does ask the dead chicken for consent, and he does so safely. It's an old condom, but he does pull a condom out. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned in a trauma film, is my point. A lot of lessons. A lot of life lessons,
A lot of life lessons.
I hope none of you are getting your moral aptitudes from a trauma film.
I truly hope not. The chicken comes to life and bites off Carl's dick. Thank God. Oh, goodness. I hope if I'm ever in a situation where I'm fucking a chicken, I hope it bites my dick off.
I hope that's how that ends.
There's blood spewing everywhere. So naturally he runs to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Spewing blood all over everything right after Hummus got it all cleaned up.
Poor Hummus, this entire movie.
Right? So she's trying to get the chicken off of his dick, and her solution is to take this mop stick, shove it through his ass, and it comes out the front of his body.
I don't think she properly thought this out because this
I
broomstick
don't
goes through his
think so.
dick, and the entire rest of the movie, he has this broomstick with his dick
The
head.
tip of his dick on
This
the
fucking
broomstick. And all the food that is laid out is now spewed with blood and green goo.
Yes. So that's a thing that happened in a movie we watched. Now, whether you enjoy Poultrygeist for its story or just pure out hate it, you have to admit the practical effects are never ending.
Oh, yeah.
Like at this point, they just keep coming, and they do an amazing job with such a low budget. There was a massive amount of people working on the special effects in this movie. 2 teams were working simultaneously. They were kind of warring, though. I'll kind of discuss that later.
Oh, okay. So Denny comes in and sees the aftermath. He's pissed and he's blaming Hummus because it really does look like these 2 things are her fault.
Yeah, because that's not how that works. You're not going to get that chicken off his dick by shoving a broomstick through his ass through his dick. I mean, well,
I mean,
didn't get the
she
chicken
did.
off. Okay, she's got a point.
Somebody got the chicken off.
That's, Duh.
So Arby comes in and says that this wasn't her fault. It was an angry chicken Indian spirit thing. And he says that they need to stop them. The general says that everyone needs to get back to work and he isn't going to let them take Carl for help. Because he's like, you can't just take this dude out in front of all these people.
Which, okay, sort of got a point there.
Right. But he's really just saying that because...
Which kind of makes you
His
wonder
restaurant.
what goes on behind the scenes of fast food. Which, by the way, okay, we have both worked fast food jobs.
Yes.
So what was your experience in fast food?
Nah, fuck that place. Fuck all of that.
I will say, fast food is the worst job you can have. Those people deserve $15 an hour.
Right.
That shit is rough. It's the worst job
Yes.
I've ever worked for such little fucking pay.
Oh my gosh, it's horrible. Like, just getting yelled at
Oh, constantly.
endlessly.
For some reason, when it comes to people's foods, like they just fucking scream at you over the littlest thing when you're like, I will replace it.
I will fix it
I
for
have
you.
the power to fix this.
And if you didn't want pickles and onions, maybe you should have told me that when you ordered your food.
Oh yeah, because people are like, oh, they always leave off the pickles and onions. Well, first of all, here's a insider thing. They barely ask for it to be left off. They barely do.
Oh yeah, almost never.
Or if they do, they must have set it to the back seat of their car or something because I didn't fucking hear it over this goddamn shitty $4 speaker that they have installed here.
Right? Oh, it's so fucking crazy. And then like I always had a problem when I worked at Sonic that I'd be like, okay, what size? I don't know what size. Pick a size.
You pick
Small, medium, large, extra
small,
large.
medium, large. We have 3. We have
Four.
4. 4? Is it 4 still?
Yeah, because it's small, medium, large, extra large.
Oh yeah. For some
With
places.
the Route 44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDonald's changed their biggie size. Remember that? But no, like just big fucking size.
Yeah,
It's
just
right
pick
there on
one.
the menu. We have all the things just
All the
labeled.
menu tells you
You
everything.
can just order. It's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ooh, that is rough.
I
That
did
gets your
not
blood
have-
pressure going.
I did not have any food thrown at me.
I did. I had
Thank
several.
goodness. But you worked there 6 years. I
Yes.
worked there a month.
I had hot chili cheese conies thrown at my head once.
Oh my god.
And all I was trying to do, because apparently the guy didn't want mustard. But again,
he
didn't
didn't
say
say
that.
that.
but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I'll replace it for it. I don't want your fucking chili cheese coney. And then this fucking coney gets lopped at my goddamn head. Of course, I was kind of faster back in the day, so I ducked. And it, just this coney hits the wall behind me. I was like, well, I'm going inside.
Right.
You have a nice day.
Oh my gosh. And just
Just be nice to the fast food worker next time.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
do that.
Oh,
we
yeah.
appreciate that so much when you work in fast food. You appreciate the really nice customers. You almost
yeah.
cry.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was times where it was just a shitty day, and it was always Sunday where I worked at Sonic Drive-In. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. It was always Sunday was the shittiest days because of the church crowd, and I know that sounds
Yes.
ridiculous, but church
No,
people
it
are even
doesn't.
worse. I don't know what it is about Jesus, but they are pissed when they come out of that house because they are mad.
You want to hear a really surprising one?
What?
The firefighters were always rude.
Oh, the firefighters were assholes. You know who was awesome? The cops, which is not what you would think would come out of my
Right.
mouth, but the cops were always sweethearts.
Right? The firefighters were rude as fuck, always sent shit back, and never paid for a meal. Not one time.
And you're like, I thought you muscly idiots were supposed to be cooking at your fire station. Go do that. Go cook the
Shoo,
giant pots
shoo.
of shit. Get the fuck out of here.
Shoo, shoo. And they never like ordered at the window or at the thing because they would always be in the fire truck. So they'd come up to the fucking
Yes.
the thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. And I think the easiest people were the Mexican workers that would come off of like the construction sites and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They knew exactly what they wanted. They come up like 12 burgers,
Mm-hmm.
like made all the same way. 12 drinks and 12 sides, all
Right.
the same. And so I was like, okay, that's a big order, but it's so simple. Like, I just make it all.
Right.
We're good.
Oh, and people would get mad about the milkshakes. Okay, milkshakes take more than a minute to make.
Yes.
One milkshake takes more than a minute to make.
And I'm sorry. You really shouldn't be getting that pissed off about that food because, first of all, it's not that expensive. Second of all, it's not that good. Like,
Right.
all this
Right.
shit's frozen. Like, all this shit's disgusting. And so just be happy. I don't know. Just don't eat here. Don't eat here if you're so angry.
Just
don't be here. But anyway.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so Arby gives Carl some of his whiskey. He foams green from the mouth and screams and maybe dies. I don't fucking know.
It sort of dies a little bit. He comes back. Now, most of Poultrygeist's crew was made of volunteers who were scouted from Craigslist ads and horror-based message boards. Fangoria wrote about this one in one of their issues, that volunteers came from as far as Sweden and Germany to be part of the production. Because think about 2006, trauma's a big thing, you know. Well, a big thing amongst people like me.
Right.
You know, like I've said, I wanted to die in a trauma movie for as long as I can live. And the best thing about that, hang on one second. The best thing ever in that behind the scenes documentary I've mentioned a bunch of times, this couple, he proposes to his girlfriend on set because he says, you know, you've wanted to die in a trauma movie for as long as I've known you. And so I've wanted to make my dream come true too. And he proposes to her, and it's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh.
While they're both dressed as zombie chickens.
Oh, zombie chicken love.
I know. But anyway, the film's composer, or the guy who composes the musical numbers, he'd gotten his part by answering an online ad looking for composers who will work for free. So don't discount some of these ads floating around, you know. Just be careful. You might end up on one of those leather casting couches. You need to really vet the people you're going to, you know.
Yeah. Or you might end up as a zombie chicken.
That too.
So General and all the employees take mutant chicken to the protesters as a peace offering.
What's he call that shit that's on it? Because it's covered in this green goo.
We're going to talk about it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You calm down.
I'm excited.
So Mickey takes a bite out of the chicken and says that it's delicious and it's the American dream. So everyone starts eating this mutant chicken. Someone asks what the spots on the chicken are, and General says those are flavor pods. And everyone rushes to the restaurant wanting more chicken.
With flavor pods.
With flavor pods.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
I mean, it'd be really cool if it was like gravy.
Yeah.
But not green.
Well, I think a lot of it's green and then some of it's shit, you know, because it's got the corn in it. That's a good one. You doing okay? You doing
I'm
okay?
not eating this chicken.
I'm just saying this next episode that we're gonna do next week is gonna be even worse because there's a whole scene about corn and how the pudding tastes off.
Is there a 10-minute long shit scene?
It's not 10 minutes.
There's another shit
There's
scene.
another shit scene coming.
I'm gonna start drinking again.
You also got to remember that the cast and a lot of the crew were sleeping over on the set to get this shit done. So they were staying in this disgusting restaurant. The actress who played Wendy, there wasn't a lot of room on set to sleep. So she had to sleep in the bathroom.
Oh.
And so she would wake up in the middle of the night. People are taking dumps and shit.
Oh my god.
So that was her intro to trauma. So we've seen our fair share of nudity in a trauma film.
Yes.
Right. And of course, there were many on-screen boners, as I said. So
nice.
It's just the amount of shit that was going on in this thing and the literal shit. It's just insane. You know what's really funny about nudity scenes in a trauma movie? You know, that's something to talk about. The nudity is tasteless, but trauma mostly goes for people who are comfortable with that.
I would hope so.
Yes. Well, you hear a lot of behind the scenes stories of all these big Hollywood productions and stuff, how people are kind of pressured into nude scenes and sex scenes. So, and that's something that's a little worrisome for me. I think we discussed this the other day about like, you know, I got worried about tube sites on porn. Because there's that whole thing of like, how do you know if it's consensual? It's really frightening. So some of your big Hollywood productions, some of that may not have been technically consensual. So that's kind of creepy. But everything here usually is. And, well, is. I shouldn't say usually. That's a terrible word to use. But no one's pressured into a nude scene. Lloyd has said that they even do nudity right out of the gate, you know. And during rehearsals. They always did the nude during the rehearsals. And sometimes they film... Oh, I already said that. So they film those scenes first, you know, just so everybody is comfortable and knows what's up and everything's cool, you know.
Right. So the general and Mickey go into his office and are talking about their scheme. They're so happy with themselves because they've made all of this up. The protesters.
Yes.
Wendy hears them in the office doing something weird, and Mickey is pouring baby powder all over the general as he's dressed like a baby.
Oh, man. And this scene, I always forget. You know, I always forget about this scene here. And this scene was supposed to be longer.
Right.
But thankfully it got trimmed because of the overshoots. But like, this one always comes out of left field for me, and I always forget about it. And then I just laugh my ass off because he's on this fucking desk. Where? And she has these like chicken containers over her breasts.
They're wipe containers.
Yeah. Oh, is it wipe containers? Oh shit! It's fucking hilarious.
And she opens it, there's like chicken feet in it or some shit. So Wendy goes in and she's very upset.
Well, obviously.
And Mickey said that she decided to follow the money.
So again, vanity protesting. That's more what I was talking about. You know, everybody dropped and went and ate some chicken, even though they were protesting all day about it.
Because, you know, chicken.
Oh, yeah. This scene, though, this is the first scene where they started going over schedule and shooting way too long. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did we need a baby powdered scene? I mean, yes, but no.
It's hard to say what scenes you would cut from this movie because they're so great.
Not really.
To me, they are. I feel like none of these scenes need to be cut. We need all of them.
No.
Brittany's like, we could have made this a 60-minute movie.
We could have made it a 30-minute sitcom episode.
I'm sorry. You guys have got to see her looks sometimes. I've got to get those on film somehow.
So Denny runs in and tells the general he needs to see what is happening. Everyone is puking up green goo everywhere. Wendy wants the general to explain this away. And he said that Tromaville is the bulimia capital of the world.
And keep in mind that this entire time, this guy's delivering this with a foghorn leghorn accent. So with the colonel, you know. Do you not know who Foghorn Leghorn is?
No.
It's a big chicken from Looney Tunes.
Oh, okay.
I say, sir. That's not how you use a mouth. Oh, wow. I fucked it up.
Anyway, I get it. I get it now. I didn't know that was his name.
The Colonel's fried chicken.
Anyway, Wendy says that if the food is as good as he says it is, then she wants him to eat it. The general agrees. But then he tries to back out. He's like, I have swim practice later. What? But everybody is watching him, even the press. He takes the bite and says it's fine, but why did I write that? 39 seconds later.
You wrote a very specific time.
I think I meant to write 30, and I hit the 9.
That's a very specific. Did you count the seconds?
39 seconds later, he has to run to the bathroom and shit out an egg.
Which literally shits out an egg. There were a lot of competition among the special effects artists, as I said. They were kind of warring back and forth. And Gabe said it was weird because they could have done so much. Like, they did so much awesome art together. Like, so he was like, why are they competing? Like, what is this?
Right.
But, like I said, the temps are high. Everybody is shit. And it's just, you're losing your mind during this. So, everything's forgivable. This chicken monster thing that we're about to get into.
There's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them. But this particular one, the little chicken monster, this was an effect made by a guy who Lloyd just met on a book tour once. And Gabe sent him an email just asking, hey, can you build us a fucking demon chicken creature?
Nice.
I know. Nice. A lot of the prosthetics and stuff were kind of donated from special effects companies around the world. So.
Oh.
There's some respect for trauma, I think, that you're not.
I get it.
You get it? Yeah.
I get it.
All right.
So the egg ends up hatching and a mutant chicken is born. It attacks the general, so the general bites its head off and sprays green goo everywhere. Mickey is trying to kiss Wendy, but she runs into Arby's arms. They hear something weird coming from the kitchen, and it's Carl with his mop dick. He's turned into a mutant chicken. Then the general comes running in and says the chicken came back to life and they need to get out of there.
Which, by the way, okay. So that whole scene where he bites the chicken head off, he's like covered in goo and they're playing that like classical music that fucking nowhere. And then the room starts shaking and he's screaming the entire time. I don't know why, but it gets a laugh out of a lot of people. Right. Just a lot of these scenes here.
They don't end up leaving, and Denny says he saw a bad chicken once, and everyone sits down around him. He's like talking, and they just sit down.
It's a play on a lot of these horror movies where like the one person starts telling the story. Like we saw that From Dusk Till Dawn and stuff like that. The story that doesn't make any sense.
So as he's telling the story, the general is mutating. He turns into a huge egg and then cracks open into a chicken. He goes to Denny and rips his head off. Oh, poor Denny.
I know.
And everyone gets up to leave, but everyone in the lobby is turning into chickens as well and eating the customers.
Yes.
There are mutant chicken lesbians. People are getting sliced and deep fried. Implants are getting ripped out.
Yes. Oh, the implants getting ripped out is like
that is not even a quarter of what's actually going on.
Oh my God.
I could not describe everything that's going on.
There is so much. Again, we cannot cover every bit of what I like to call the chicken puke orgy. Because damn, the effects team had their work cut out for it. It's a gore lover's dream here.
Oh, yes.
Plus the angles. There's so many camera angles that they're switching back and forth on. It's amazing. This scene alone is worth all the movie. The best part, though, I gotta say that we didn't really mention, but that one chicken zombie lady pulls that other person's face off.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, I know it's bad for me, but I just love the skin.
It's so funny because these what they're portraying is these chickens are taking over and they're acting like humans.
Yes.
The way that humans act when they're eating chicken.
Yes. Yes.
But they're acting like, or they're eating the humans. So the humans in this case are
Yeah,
the
because they're
chickens.
like cutting that one dude up on the counter and putting him in a bucket.
Yes. It's pretty hilarious.
And the gore is great, man.
Oh, yes.
Like,
I love it.
I like the gore. This is sad to say, but the gore in this is even better than From Dusk Till Dawn during the titty twister breakout.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like, holy shit, this low budget movie gave that movie a run for its money.
Right. So the 4 people left alive are cornered, and future Arby comes in with a gun and starts shooting on the zombie chickens. He's about to kill the general, but gets attacked by Denny the chicken. Arby says that he has just won the wet t-shirt contest and blows him away. I don't understand this. He's like, you won. And he's like, won what? He's like,
the Denny
wet
chicken
t-shirt concert.
Because
Or
President Arby kills Denny,
contest.
the chicken Denny, that they called the Black and Cajun chicken.
I get it. I get all of that. But
Okay.
why is there a wet t-shirt contest?
Well, that's the dumbness of Arby.
Okay,
Is he
I'm
makes
like-
a joke that doesn't make any sense because everybody's
Oh.
like, "What?"
Okay, good. Because I was like, what? I'm fucking confused.
Wet
What did I
t-shirt
miss?
contest, motherfucker! Shoots.
So they go to leave, but there's this huge crowd of zombie chickens outside. And Wendy says she knows the solution. And she turns the open sign from open to close. So they all start going away.
Oh, originally though, this was supposed to be a long, drawn-out scene of them boarding up the restaurant, but like they cut that because of the overshoot, so they're running out of film, so they just switched it to a little gag here.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is really funny. Especially there's a scene during that scene. It's where Mickey's like, "They're gonna get through here faster than the time it took me to convince Wendy to become a full-blown lesbian."
They do say that. It's
And
pretty
Arby's
hilarious.
like, "Oh my god, we have to stop them before they turn the glass into lesbians."
Arby is so dumb.
Oh, it's like I said, the comedy. So first, the sight of Lloyd gunning down some zombie chickens is fucking amazing. But all the squibs here, it's important to point out, those were all homemade, made from these pump sprayers you can go grab at Lowe's, just tubed up to everybody.
Oh, nice.
The cost of actual squibs would have been $10,000.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, think about that. They save so much money because one of those little pump things like $30.
Right. And they only need like 5. So future Arby is still alive and says that Arby is dumb and then he has to get out of
Yeah,
there.
he's like, "I'm you dipshit." Because he still
He's
doesn't
like, you're
get
a
it.
fucking idiot. A woman says that she needs help though because her daughter is missing. Mickey says she is leaving, puts on a chicken costume, and sneaks out. Arby says they need to split up and look for the little girl and sends the woman to the kitchen because he knows she's going to get attacked. No, maybe he didn't know.
He
He's
didn't.
dumb.
He didn't, because she goes back there and her severed head immediately comes up and he grabs it and he's like, "What'd you see?" God damn it.
So Carl Jr. comes in to kill them, and Arby has this idea to ask how to kill them. He's like, wait a second, before I defend myself, I need to know, Carl. He's like, how do I kill these things? And Carl says whiskey, and Arby's like, okay. And he's like, no, alcohol, you dipshit. So Arby pours some of Carl's whiskey into his mouth. He starts to burn and die, and Arby still isn't getting it.
Yes, he's like, "Tell me how to kill them." This is dead corpse.
He's just beating it up.
Originally, though, the scene, because Arby does knock down Carl Jr., originally the scene was supposed to go on a lot longer because, like I mentioned, there was action scenes in this movie with the choreographer and the martial arts expert. But again, it was all cut because they were going over time.
So they hear a crash from the kitchen and they think it's Mickey. So Wendy is crying over her because she thinks she's dead. And Arby is pissed. So he runs off. Wendy takes off the costume,
Chicken head,
the head
we
thing.
didn't really mention it's like a big old
It's a chicken mascot.
chicken. Yeah, it's a mascot costume.
Yeah. And Mickey starts to attack her.
Because she's a zombie chicken now.
And she has a big cock.
Yes.
It comes
I get it.
out.
It's a cock.
Yeah, I get it.
I fucking love it. Oh my God. I think.
So Arby is bitching about Wendy to the priest and tells him that Mickey is probably turned into a demon.
Arby's like, I don't think so. You think so? Yes.
He goes to check it out, and indeed she has. But he still blames Wendy and says that she shouldn't be having sex with the corpse.
Wendy, that's disgusting.
He finally realizes and attacks Mickey. Attacks Mickey's demon cock thing.
Oh God.
Saying he's going to get it off and he's going to choke the chicken.
You off? How do I get you off?
I'm going to choke the chicken.
He's like, maybe I'll beat you off.
And then it like spews and he was like,
it spews all over his face. He's like, I did it. Oh my God. So Kate Graham, who plays Wendy, was not excited about the scene.
Oh yeah.
Originally, Arby chokes this chicken penis and it squirts white seminal fluid all over Wendy.
Oh.
Yes. She was upset at this, saying, and again, this is what I find fascinating, just that one little thing. Well,
right.
Okay. This is one little thing in a trauma movie. In
Wait
a
a
regular
second.
movie, this would not be one little thing.
Wait a second.
What?
You said they didn't make fun of rape. This is kind of making fun of rape.
Yeah, but nobody really gets raped. You know what I mean?
Almost.
Okay, almost. But still.
You're just trying to justify it.
Shh. I'm dying on the hill. So she was upset, saying this. She felt like this was going way too far and it was way pornographic and stuff like that. Lloyd, even when he came in and was seeing what they were doing and stuff like that, he was like, why is it white?
Right.
And they were like, well, because it's cum, Lloyd. He's like, yeah, but we're not shooting a porn. Don't we? Put some green in there. That's the chicken color. He's
Right.
like, put the green in there, make it green. Because it was just milk, what they used for this cum, this chicken cum.
Right.
Again, what other podcast is saying chicken cum right now? What other movie podcast? But anyway, so Arby gets a facial and all is well. So I guess that's fine. But like I said, it's fascinating. Just that one thing you're just like, nope. Like I'll do all this other crazy shit, but not this.
It is kind of
It's a little too far.
pornographic.
I get it. Yeah, I totally get it.
It's
also,
not needed.
Also, they created the detail that went into this. Like they created a giant chicken vagina. If you notice, when she's pulling out that cock, it's coming out of a big ass chicken vagina.
Right.
Like so,
It's so weird.
it's hard to explain. You have to watch the movie.
Just watch it. So future Arby comes in and attacks Arby. Hummus comes to help him and drinks something that turns her into this jacked up mutant thing.
I don't.
I don't know
where this came
either.
from. I think they just did it so Lloyd, as a chicken zombie, could make that Barry Bonds joke.
Okay.
You missed it.
I guess
He's like,
so.
look at Barry Bonds.
Wendy and Arby go running and hide behind the priest, who is trying to fight the chickens away with a cross and a copy of the Passion of the Christ.
The Passion of the Christ compels you.
So they attack him anyway and smash his head.
And this actor that's playing the priest, you'll notice throughout the movie, he's wearing an obvious wig, right?
Right.
Well, like the old trauma standby for a head crush is a melon. We know this. It's a melon. So in order for the melon to look right, to look like a head, it has to have a hair. So like this actor's bald. So they were like, well, we can't have that because we're going to crush his head. So they put a wig on him the entire time so they could put a wig on the melon.
And I do appreciate the classic trauma head crush.
Yes. It's lovely.
It's my
It's
favorite.
just a fucking melon full of gore.
It's my favorite.
It's so simplistic.
So Arby finally realizes that the alcohol kills the mutant
Takes
chickens.
him long enough.
he puts all the pieces together.
In this montage of him thinking, do you remember when this?
Yes, and all of these things.
Yes.
He goes on to this big speech. So while he's coming to this realization, Wendy kills them with the beer. And she actually didn't end up killing one of them, and it turns the open sign back over.
That's how the chickens invade.
So the zombie chickens start coming through. So they kill some with the beer until they run out.
And there is some CGI used in this movie for the wounds when they get the beer on them and stuff like that, and to remove some wires. So it's kind of interesting. It's probably, but also it's probably the only movie around 2006 that wasn't using an ass ton of CGI.
Right. Because it was so cool back then.
Right.
So Hummus is back to normal and comes to save them. They go to the stock room and it's covered in mutant eggs and goo. They find the little girl. Arby gives her mother's head. Then another chicken corners them. Arby spills to Wendy that he understands now that she needs a man to drive her and support her. Except for financially, he says. Everything around them stops. And they are going to make out, but the chicken starts singing. So they all dance and sing to this little musical number. And the chicken says he's going to kill them, and they ask him not to. Please don't.
Please don't kill us.
So they sing for a moment, and the chicken starts getting gassy and tries to leave.
I'll be with you in a moment. I fucking love it.
But he ends up blowing up. And Paco the Sandwich is there. And he has saved them.
I guess he couldn't handle Mexican.
Is this the scene where they're singing Milk, Milk, Lemonade?
No. But Brittany did pick up on some musical stuff this time. No, that was earlier when they were doing the makeout scene on the floor of the restaurant. Well, the makeout scene, they're fucking.
Right.
Then he ends up accidentally licking Carl Jr. In his own dream, though.
I mean, you got to have some
variety, you know?
Right.
Anyway. But yes, he's saved by the Paco Bell taco sandwich, which say that 3 times fast.
It's actually a sloppy Jose.
Oh, yeah, it is a sloppy Jose in the movie, isn't it? So the kid here who dances and sings, because they do find the little girl. At the premiere, the mother and I think the father wanted to bring the daughter to it. But Lloyd was like, because during shoots, no kids are exposed to any of the shit. You
right.
know, Lloyd makes sure of that. Even his own daughters, he makes sure they don't see this shit and stuff like that. But Lloyd was like, no, don't bring the kid.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you guys can come. It's free, but do not bring the child. She cannot watch this movie.
That's hilarious. So the zombies are still there and they're trying to corner the people. Arby says they have 2 choices, and Wendy says she wants to stand up and fight them.
Yes.
Hummus decides to show her true self. She takes off her hijab and all of that stuff. And underneath, she's a blonde chick in a bikini with a bomb strapped to her.
You say it's racist, but now you're laughing over there. You're laughing heartily.
I think it's funny that she's blonde in a bikini.
Because, I mean, this actress here is not the same actress who plays her in the entire movie.
No. She says Arby and Wendy need to save themselves, and she goes to blow herself up and kill everyone. So they run out of the building, and this is my favorite thing in the whole fucking movie, okay? The building blows up, and all of this stuff starts, like, this debris starts hitting them, but some of it's just like these big fried eggs.
Yes. There's a lot of egg gags in this fucking movie. Did you catch during the chicken puke orgy where they rip off that dude's head and then they crack it on the side of the stove and eggs come out?
Oh no, I guess I didn't.
Oh man, it's
that.
amazing. But yes, fried eggs.
I don't know why that was so hilarious to me, because they're like these huge fried eggs just like beaming them in the head. It's so funny.
So at one point, though, during the shoots, they accidentally tore down the set way too early because, again, everybody was like, "Oh God, we're done." Like, no, we're not. So Lloyd had to do reshoots again.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
So Arby, Wendy, and the little girl leave in the car. Arby gives her a beer and she chugs it. Wendy says that she has been just running away from her feelings. And the little girl starts to feel sick and lays an egg. So they end up crashing in the car and the car catches fire.
Yes, and you got to
I
appreciate.
think I've seen this before.
Oh yeah.
A couple of times.
Because of course, Trauma Month again would not be complete without this car scene that has been used over and over again in every Kaufman flick. By the way,
Is it because it cost him so much money?
yeah, they're gonna milk this for all it's worth, man. I would. I mean, that was a one in a lifetime shot of this car flipping. You know, it started with Sergeant Kabuki Man, you know, so go back. If you're not familiar with past Trauma Month, go back and listen to that episode to hear how that was achieved.
So you think the movie's over?
Nope.
But nope. The zombie chickens are doing a zombie thriller dance, but not to the thriller song.
No, they're doing it to the Poultrygeist song. Poultrygeist, you're all gonna die tonight. I love it. The dancing scene that you just discussed was actually supposed to be part of the song and dance number while the heroes are singing in the basement with the big ass chicken. But of course that got cut, you know, but Gabe found a way to put it back in, you know, so it's on the Poultrygeist song at the end. That'll be stuck in your head forever. You actually listened to a few songs I noticed this time, by the way.
I
mentioned it
did.
earlier. You did.
I mean, the whole thing was a fucking musical. I kind of had to.
I mean, that was a good point. Well, Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, shot on 35 millimeter and released to a limited theatrical release, like many Trauma movies, bombed. You know, Lloyd brought up an interesting fact in my interview with him, which you guys can go check out on our website. Fans always aren't really too warm to a new Trauma movie when it first comes out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's like, it's a masterpiece years later when the next Trauma movie comes out. It's a really weird thing that happens. But my point of doing Trauma Month isn't just to celebrate trauma and my love of shit jokes and shit like that. It's like it's a celebration of an indie film studio that will never die, but also it's a celebration of the fact that with some hard work, anyone can make a movie and make it outside the Hollywood assholes who control our entertainment. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've seen this over and over again on our show here. You know, indie artists make a shoestring budget movie that Hollywood tends to forget about, but fans don't. You know, take some of the movies we've covered, which were probably pure garbage when they first came out, but now they're like beloved classics.
Right.
It's funny to see some of these hailed as classics. I thought, you know, there's a reason we are sitting here recording a way too long episode about Poultrygeist.
Oh my gosh. I told you it was going to be a long
It's
one.
very long. Probably more than anyone has ever dedicated a podcast episode to. But Indian horror in general makes such a mark on our culture that we won't ever stop talking about these films.
Right.
People will be talking about Poultrygeist when I'm dead. I mean,
I hope so.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You take movies like The Hurt Locker. No one talks at length or dedicates entire podcast episodes to that movie. You know what I mean? You don't see someone taking time out of their day to pick apart the themes and special effects work in the latest comedy movie or cookie cutter action flick like any of the Marvel movies. Well, maybe you do see podcasts dedicated to that, but
Yes.
it's still dumb. But you know, all these action flicks that are cookie cuttered out by big budget studios, you know, you're not going to see this amount of dedication to those movies. That's because people forget about those, you know, maybe not the Marvel, not the superhero movies. That's like the new thing. But obviously I love this movie and mainstream audience are probably going to hate it. But what did you think about 2006's Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead?
Okay.
Here we go.
Here's the thing.
Moment of truth.
Here's the thing. Okay. The first time I watched it,
Okay.
I fell asleep. So, and I had the best lesbian sex dream I ever had,
Oh, awesome.
which was very strange
Well, it makes sense.
because I woke up to Paco being ground
brutally
in that
ground up.
thing. And I was like, I'm not watching this.
You're like,
We're
I've
back
gone
to
too
sleep.
far. I've reached the point of no return.
Yep.
Good night.
I'm like, I'm going back to bed. Thank you. So the second time I watched it, once we get past the shit,
I can't believe
I'm good.
I can't believe that's your hang up. Is the shit scene. That like I said, Citizen Kane of diarrhea scenes.
The fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Well, like, I wish Joe Flyshaker had a memorial video because that scene should be on it. Just a black and white slow-mo of him shitting himself.
You are ridiculous.
I am.
Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I liked it.
Ah, awesome. Okay, you
You
did
were like,
like it.
"Wait,
You
what?"
did like it. You didn't hate it.
No, I didn't. I really
Okay.
liked it. I love special effects. I
Oh,
love
there's a shit
when movies put a lot of money and time into special effects. Not that I go into detail, like looking or whatever. I like blood and gore
Oh,
and
there's
goo and
There's
throw
plenty.
up and all of that stuff. Not shit.
But with trauma, you're going to get the shit amongst the
I
gore.
get it. I get it.
Well, things are going to get even crazier next week because we are watching Terror Firmer, which is a meta movie. That's right. It's
What
it's
the
a
fuck
look
does that mean?
at a making of a trauma movie. It's a trauma movie about a trauma movie. Where Lloyd is a blind director, which is a nice little touch there. We'll talk about those themes, those jokes, and the Eli Roth cameo that you're going to get. But that's
Daddy.
next week. So Trauma Munch trucks on. Now, everybody,
Get
you're listening
ready.
to this week, which you'll be this
You're
gets to
listening
you.
to this
Yeah,
this
week.
week.
Well, we record these on Saturdays and Mondays. You guys get these.
The
So-
19th.
Yeah, the 19th. You're listening to the 19th. You have a few more days. By the 21st, you need to have your request in for Listener Request Month because that's coming up in May. And we got some crazy requests that I
know
can't.
one.
You know one? Oh,
I'm not
she
gonna
does
say
know
what
one.
it is.
She does know one. I can't wait because we got some offbeat requests this time around, and I'm
Ooh,
very
we like
excited.
a good offbeat.
Yes, we've gotten some really good requests. Like people are really coming through with that. So get those in. Send those to horrorfilemailback@gmail.com or just DM us on any one of our social media platforms.
Yep, we
Or
got you.
comment, just whatever you want to do. Just get the word out. And we'll see it, and we'll throw it into the hat. So by the
Right.
21st. Other than that, go hang out on our Patreon. People are really loving shooting the shit.
Yes.
That's our new weekly episodic adventures into nothing. It's a show about nothing where we just shoot the shit, literally in the name.
right.
I think, what did we talk about? Bigfoot porn on the last episode and aliens. And I got an anal probe, and it's a good time. It's a good time. But go subscribe there. You'll also get our Bruce Campbell Hour show, all about we're following right now we're on Ash vs. Evil Dead, but we're talking about TV shows starring Bruce Campbell and also movies. And you'll also get, once a month, you'll get Damn Fine Peaks, which is our Twin Peaks retrospective.
It's almost over.
It's almost over, and then we'll be covering a David Lynch movie, which I believe I said Blue Velvet is what I picked for that. But anyway, that's Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, and that is the second to last episode of Trauma Month. It has gone by fast.
Whoop, whoop.
So we'll see you again next week. I'm Lee Evans saying stay spooky.
And I'm Brittany. Stay horrific.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. To get a hold of us and submit your stories, fan mail, and death threats, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and nightofthehorrorfile.com. Our theme song was written and performed by John Brennan, used with permission. Find John at shopjb.bandcamp.com and at badtechno.com. If you like what you hear, leave a good review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share the show on your social media. See you next week.